आज का जो विषय है वो है लिविंग बियॉन्ड अटैचमेंट्स। पीछे हमने चर्चा की लिविंग बियॉन्ड डिजायर्स, लिविंग बियॉन्ड एंगर और लिविंग बियॉन्ड ग्रीड। काम मुक्त जीवन, क्रोध मुक्त जीवन और लोभ मुक्त जीवन। आज की चर्चा का विषय है कि मोह मुक्त जीवन। ये मोह इत्यादि जो शब्द है हमने बहुत बार सुना है, बचपन से सुनते आए हैं। मोह माया है, सब मोह माया है और इससे मुक्त होना है। तो मोह और माया ये ऐसा विषय है कि चर्चा बहुत होती है, समझ में बहुत कम आता है। तो उससे मुक्त होना है तो कैसे मुक्त होना है, कैसे मुक्त होना है तो बाद की बात है। क्यों मुक्त होना है, मोह में, माया में, अटैचमेंट में इशू क्या है, और उससे भी पहले कि वास्तव में अटैचमेंट या मोह है क्या। कामना का अर्थ होता है कि मुझे यह चाहिए, वह चाहिए, वह चाहिए। क्रोध का अर्थ है जब मुझे यह चाहिए, वह चाहिए, वह चाहिए, उस चाहने में, उसे पूरा करने में जब भी कोई बाधा आती है तो मैं फ्रस्ट्रेटेड फील करता हूँ। अगर किसी व्यक्ति के कारण वो बाधा आती है तो मैं उस पर क्रोधित फील करता हूँ। और लोभ का अर्थ है कि सिर्फ यह चाहिए, वह चाहिए ही नहीं, और चाहिए, और भी चाहिए, और भी चाहिए। जो मिला है वो पर्याप्त नहीं है और अधिक चाहिए। और इस सारे खेल की जो शुरुआत है वो सिर्फ एक अभाव से पैदा होती है। जैसे हम होश संभालते हैं, बड़े होने लगते हैं, जैसे मैं और तू का भेद धीरे धीरे बढ़ता चला जाता है। और मैं देखता हूँ कि मैं जो है वो तू के बिना अधूरा है। मैं जो है उसके पास, वो अपने आप में पर्याप्त नहीं है, वो अपने आप में पूरा नहीं है। मैं जो है, इस मैं के अंदर एक बहुत गहरे खालीपन का एहसास होता है। तो इस खालीपन को भरने के लिए जो पहला जन्म है वो कामनाओं का जन्म है कि यह चाहिए, वह चाहिए। क्योंकि एक उम्मीद है, यह मिलेगा तो मैं परिपूर्ण महसूस करूंगा, वह मिलेगा तो आई विल फील फुलफिल्ड। और अनेक अलग अलग ख्वाहिशें पूरी होती भी चली जाती हैं तो हमें लगता है कि इससे बात नहीं बन रही, अब कुछ और, कुछ नया, कुछ अलग और मैं खोजूं। और इतना ही नहीं, कभी लगता है कि वाकई में जब ख्वाहिश पूरी हुई थी तो खुशी तो हुई थी। इमेजिन द फर्स्ट सैलरी यू एवर गॉट, इमेजिन द फर्स्ट बाइक यू बॉट, इमेजिन द फर्स्ट कार यू बॉट। तो खुशी तो होती है, लेकिन वो खुशी ज़्यादा देर तक टिकती नहीं है। थोड़ी देर में बात आई गई हो जाती है। इट ऑल बिकम्स वेरी नेचुरल, क्योंकि हमारे मन का स्वभाव है जो मिल गया वो तो अपना हो गया, अब उसके बारे में कोई विचार नहीं, कोई ख्याल नहीं। दैट इज समथिंग वी टेक फॉर ग्रांटेड। और हमारे मन की नज़र सदा उस पर बनी रहती है जो नहीं मिला। मन का स्वभाव ही ऐसा, मन का ढंग ही ऐसा। जो मिल गया वो बेकार हो गया, और जो नहीं मिला उसमें हमारी रुचि बनी रहती है। एक गजल किसी ने कही बहुत प्यारी, दुनिया जिसे कहते हैं जादू का खिलौना है। आई थिंक जगजीत हैज संग दैट गजल और मुझे बहुत प्यारी लगी। दुनिया जिसे कहते हैं जादू का खिलौना है, मिल जाए तो मट्टी है, खो जाए तो सोना है। तो जो नहीं मिला, जो दूर है, जो मेरी पहुंच के पार है, वो मुझे सोने जैसा लगता है। वह स्वर्ण है, वह खजाना है, वह असली प्रॉमिस अपने आप में लिए हुए दिखाई देता है। और जो मिल गया दैट इज़ लाइक अ फेल्ड प्रॉमिस, जैसे चली हुई कारतूस। मिल गया, उसके बाद उसकी वैल्यू नहीं रही, वो बात ख़त्म हो गई। लेकिन इस सारे खेल में और की चाह में, कुछ नए की चाह में जब मैं दौड़ता हूँ और मेरे भीतर का खालीपन नहीं भरता, तो इसी गरीबी में, इस खालीपन में, इस अभाव में मेरे भीतर कभी एक भाव उत्पन्न होता है कि चलो, और अगर नहीं भी मिल रहा, कम से कम जो मिला हुआ है, जितना भी है, वो मुझसे कहीं छूट ना जाए। दिस इज मोह, दिस इज अटैचमेंट। अटैचमेंट और डिज़ायर में जो फ़र्क है, अटैचमेंट और ग्रीड में जो फ़र्क है, वो समझ लें हम। डिजायर और ग्रीड में जो फर्क है वो भी समझ लें हम। डिजायर है जो नहीं मिला उसकी चाह, ग्रीड है जो मिल चुका वह और भी मिले। यानी मिला थोड़ी देर के लिए, मुझे आनंद महसूस हुआ, लेकिन फिर मुझे लगता है कि आनंद गायब हो गया। तो पहली बार जिस कारण से मिला था, मुझे लगता है अगर मैं उसकी क्वांटिटी बढ़ा दूं तो शायद फिर से मिलेगा। जैसे अगर मैं लाख रुपया कमाता हूं, तो मुझे लगता है कि अगर मैं 2 लाख कमाने लगूंगा तो फिर मेरे जीवन में सुख होगा, फिर मेरे जीवन में परिपूर्णता होगी, देन आई विल फील फुलफिल्ड। लेकिन मैं 2 कमाने लगता हूँ, फिर मुझे लगता है कि अभी भी फुलफिलमेंट तो है ही नहीं कहीं, शायद 4 कमाने लगूंगा तब मैं फुलफिलमेंट महसूस करूंगा। ये ग्रीड है। जितना मिलता जाता है वह हमें कम लगते चले जाता है, तो हम चाहते हैं कि और मिले और मिले, तो शायद जब और मिलेगा 2 गुना होगा, 4 गुना होगा, 10 गुना होगा, 100 गुना होगा, तब मेरे जीवन में सुख ही सुख होगा। लेकिन उतना मिलता तो नहीं है, सबको तो नहीं मिलता, एक सीमा है मिलने की। और जब वो सीमा को हम हिट करते हैं, या जब हमें लगता है कि और तो भूल ही जाओ, जो है ये भी हाथ से जाने की उम्मीद है। समझें कि एक व्यक्ति चाहता है कि मैं 1 करोड़ रुपया महीने का कमाऊं, और उसके घर पे इनकम टैक्स की रेड पड़ जाती है। अब वो 1 करोड़ रुपया जो नया कमाना है हर महीने, वो तो वो भूल जाएगा, लेकिन उसका सबसे पहला जो थॉट है वो ये है कि जो मैं कमा चुका हूँ, जो मैं जमा कर चुका हूँ, अब ये बचाना है किसी तरह, ये कहीं छूट ना जाए। ये अटैचमेंट है। कामना यानी जो नहीं मिला वह मिले ऐसी चाह। लोभ यानी जो मिल चुका है वह और भी मिले और भी मिले ऐसी चाह। और अटैचमेंट या मोह यानी जो मिला है ऑलरेडी मेरे पास है, वह कहीं छूट ना जाए। क्योंकि जो मिला है वह भी अपने आप में एक प्रॉमिस लिए हुए है कि जितना हम एक पुअर मेंटेलिटी से जीते हैं, एक गरीब मन की स्थिति में जीते हैं, हमें लगता है कि वी आर नॉट वर्थ एनीथिंग, सो वट एवर वी हैव इज ऑलरेडी अ लॉट। क्योंकि हम लोग बहुत, हम में से जो लोग हैं वो इस भाव से बड़े होते हैं, इस भावना को अपने अंदर लेकर बड़े होते हैं, जिसको मैं कहना चाहूँगा वर्थलेसनेस। तो समझो, अगर संबंधों में भी यही होता है, सिर्फ वस्तुओं के साथ ये नहीं होता। आपको कोई एक गर्लफ्रेंड मिल गई कि एक बॉयफ्रेंड मिल गया, अब आप उसे ज़िंदगी भर छोड़ने को तैयार नहीं हो, क्योंकि नसीब मिला, फिर दोबारा मिले या ना मिले। ये गरीब मेंटेलिटी है, ये गरीबी का एटीट्यूड है संबंधों के प्रति। एक मित्र मिल गया, अब दोबारा ऐसा मित्र पता नहीं मिले या ना मिले। दुनिया तो धोखेबाजों से भरी है। तो जैसे अटैचमेंट जो है, अक्सर अटैचमेंट को हम वस्तुओं से कम जोड़ते हैं, अपने संबंधों से ज़्यादा जोड़ते हैं। बच्चों के साथ अटैचमेंट है, पति के साथ अटैचमेंट है, पत्नी के साथ अटैचमेंट है, माता पिता के साथ अटैचमेंट है कि वो मुझसे दूर न चले जाएं, अपने मित्रों के साथ अटैचमेंट है। तो यह अटैचमेंट भी मेरे देखे 4 तल पर है, ये सिर्फ संबंधों में, वस्तुओं में नहीं है। तो वो 4 तल हम समझ लें। पहला तल है भौतिक, फिजिकल प्लेन या मटेरियलिस्टिक प्लेन। तो पहली अटैचमेंट्स जो हम, एक तल की जो अटैचमेंट्स हम महसूस करते हैं, वो है मटेरियल वर्ल्ड से, मटेरियलिस्टिक चीज़ों के साथ। किसी को अपनी गाड़ी के साथ बहुत अटैचमेंट है, बामुश्किल, भले वो 6 करोड़ की गाड़ी है, लेकिन बामुश्किल जब खरीदी है, नाउ यू आर वेरी अटैच टू दैट। जरा सी भी खरोंच ना आ जाए, कुछ उसे हो ना जाए, आपकी जान उसमें अटकी है, उसे कोई जरा भी नुकसान ना हो जाए, कुछ गलत ना हो जाए। मुझे याद है रोहन के पापा ने नई कार खरीदी, और नई कार खरीदने के बाद मेरे पास आए मेडिटेशन प्रोग्राम के लिए। पहली दफ़ा जब आए थे, MTDC रिजॉर्ट है लोनावला में, तो ही हैड कम देयर। तो लगातार मेडिटेशन सेशंस चल रहे हैं सुबह से लेके रात तक, और बीच में 15-20 मिनट का ब्रेक, आधे घंटे का ब्रेक। और वो हर ब्रेक में जब वो नीचे उतरे हॉल से, वो फटाफट एक कपड़ा निकाले और गाड़ी का कांच और वो सब ऐसे फट एकदम पोंछने लगे वो। और जितने यंग बच्चे थे वहाँ पे वो बोलते हैं आपके पापा को कि अंकल थोड़ा कम घिसो, गाड़ी घिस जाएगी इतना। ना दिस इज अटैचमेंट। अब किसी तरीके जैसे भी मेहनत करके कमा के किसी तरीके व्यक्ति कुछ हासिल करता है और फिर उसके साथ वो अटैच्ड है कि इस ये कुछ कम ना हो जाए, इसका कुछ खराब ना हो जाए, इसमें कुछ गलत ना हो जाए। वस्तुओं से अटैचमेंट, ये मटेरियल वर्ल्ड की अटैचमेंट, धन है तो खो ना जाए, जितना है और बढ़ा सकूं तो बहुत अच्छा, लेकिन अगर और नहीं बढ़ा सकता कम से कम जितना है उसमें कोई कमी ना आ जाए। दूसरी जो अटैचमेंट है वो मेंटल है, मानसिक तल पर है कि जो मैंने सोचा है, मेरे जो कॉन्सेप्ट्स हैं, जो मेरे आइडियाज़ हैं, जो मेरे थॉट्स हैं, वो चोरी ना हो जाए, वो कोई और ना ले ले। अब ये बहुत बड़ी अटैचमेंट है, ख्याल रखना। दिस होल कॉपीराइट और पेटेंट्स का जो वर्ल्ड है यह इस मेंटल अटैचमेंट पर जीवित है। इट्स सच एन अमेजिंग वर्ल्ड जिसमें ऐसी टेक्नोलॉजी अवेलेबल है, इतना कुछ अवेलेबल है जो पूरे जगत का भला कर सकता है, लेकिन वो नहीं कर पाता क्योंकि लोगों ने उसे पेटेंट कर रखा है, कॉपीराइट कर रखा है। इट इज़ नॉट अवेलेबल टू बी यूज्ड फ्रीली। तो कुछ भी आपने सोचा, कोई आपका आइडिया है, कुछ आपके पास उतरा, आपने कुछ डिज़ाइन किया। अब हमने सुना बचपन से कि जब कोई आपकी नकल करता है, ये सबसे बड़ा कॉम्प्लीमेंट है। जब आपका डिज़ाइन कोई चोरी करता है और उस तरह के डिज़ाइन बनाने लगता है, दिस इज़ द बिगेस्ट कॉम्प्लीमेंट यू कैन हैव। इट मस्ट बी सो गुड कि अदर पीपल वांट टू एक्चुअली कॉपी इट, राइट? नाउ इन द बिजनेस वर्ल्ड मे बी, आई डोंट नो, मे बी इट मेक सेंस टू कॉपीराइट थिंग्स, लेकिन लोग हर चीज़ को कॉपीराइट करना चाहते हैं। इवन आज ओशो के जगत में मेडिटेशन तक कॉपीराइटेड है। नाउ दिस इज ओशो मेडिटेशन, TM ट्रेडमार्क के साथ में, और पेटेंट है और कॉपीराइट है। आप पब्लिकली वो पर्टिकुलर ध्यान की विधि नहीं करवा सकते बिना परमिशन के। नाउ कैन यू इमेजिन something like meditation is also copyrighted. Someone has created beautiful music. लेकिन अब ये हमारी चाह के उस संगीत से मुझे धन भी कमाना, now everything is copyrighted. It can't go out in the public. Whereas this music could bring so much joy to so many people if it was not copyrighted. Fine, people want to make money, people want to do so many things. Understandable. लेकिन हमें सबसे ज़्यादा तकलीफ कब होती है? जब मेरा आइडिया कोई दूसरा चुराता है। बिजनेस वर्ल्ड में आप पैसा कमाना चाहते हो, बात समझ में आती है, लेकिन जब मुझे तकलीफ होती है कि मेरा आइडिया किसी और ने चुराया, फॉर एग्जाम्पल इट हैपन्स मैनी टाइम्स दैट वी क्रिएट समथिंग। अभी जो रिसेंटली जो डिज़ाइंस भी हम लोग डालते हैं, अभी ये लिविंग बियॉन्ड डिज़ायर्स, एंगर, ये जिस तरह का डिज़ाइन और वो सब पोस्टर्स जो बन रहे हैं, now there are so many people who have started to create similar programs or similar designs while they are putting it on Facebook or wherever. तो मेरी अपनी जो टीम है, जो लोग हैं, वो कहते हैं देखो ये इन्होंने अपना चोरी किया, देखो ये इन्होंने अपना चोरी किया। तो मुझे हमेशा लगता है करने दो। ये आइडिया कि कोई मेरा आइडिया चोरी कर रहा है और ये गलत है, ये भी पॉवर्टी से निकला है। रिमेंबर, अटैचमेंट इज ऑल रिलेटेड टू मेंटल पॉवर्टी। नॉट ओनली पॉवर्टी, इट इज एक्चुअली रिलेटेड टू बैंक्रप्सी। अगर कभी कभार वंस इन अ ब्लू मून आई गेट अ ग्रेट आइडिया और वो चोरी हो जाता तो मुझे भय है। लेकिन इफ यू आर फिल्ड विद इट, इफ यू आर कनेक्टेड विद द सोर्स एंड इट कीप्स ऑन कमिंग, व्हाट कॉपीराइट, व्हाट अटैचमेंट। मैंने एक धुन बनाई, अगर मुश्किल सालों में मुझसे कभी एक सुंदर धुन बन पाती है, समझो ये गरीबी है। सालों में कभी एक धुन मुझसे बन पाती है, अब मैं इसे कॉपीराइट करता हूँ, मैं उससे अटैच्ड हूँ, ये चोरी ना हो जाए, ये कहीं निकल ना जाए, कहीं हाथ से ना चले जाए। लेकिन अगर मैं सोर्स के साथ कनेक्टेड हूँ एंड आई कैन कीप ऑन क्रिएटिंग, how does this make any difference to me? The whole idea of attachment, whether it is with material things or it is with ideology, with thoughts or on any other level, first thing to be understood is born out of bankrupt minds. अभाव से यह सब उपजा है. अगर मैं धन कमा सकता हूँ, कभी भी कहीं भी जाके कमा सकता हूँ, तो अगर मैं बीच में 1000 बार जीरो हो जाऊं, 1000 बार माइनस में चले जाऊं, why will it bother me? If I'm confident, if I know how to make money, if I know how to do things, I will do it anytime. In fact, बिल्कुल ऐसा ही है जैसे लोग स्टंट करते हैं मोटरसाइकिल पे. कुछ लोग हैं जो बाइक पे या इवन बाइसिकल्स पे, कार्स पे वो बड़े स्टंट कर लेते हैं, और कुछ लोग जो हैं वो बहुत कॉशियसली चलाते हैं. तो अच्छा ड्राइवर कौन है, बेहतर राइडर कौन सा है? जो बहुत ही कॉशियसली चलता है वो, या जो कोई भी स्टंट कर सकता है? हु इज मोर आर्टिकुलेट, हु इज मोर स्किल्ड? जो स्टंट भी कर सकता, जो कुछ भी कर सकता है. हम नया नया बाइक चलाना सीखते हैं, बाइसिकल चलाना सीखते हैं, हम डरते हैं. बच्चे जब सीखते हैं तो ट्राइसिकल से शुरू होता है. एक्चुअली ट्राइसिकल भी नहीं, वो क्वाड्रिसिकल कहना चाहिए उसे. इधर भी पहिया, इधर भी पहिया, इतना सारा सपोर्ट के कहीं गिरे नहीं. फिर जैसे वो सक्षम होता है तो वो उसके साइड की सपोर्ट्स निकल जाती हैं. फिर जैसे जैसे हम बाइक चलाने में और सक्षम होते हैं, आप देखो बचपन में मैंने तो किया, आपने भी किया होगा, आप हाथ छोड़ के भी साइकिल चलाते. द फेमस वर्ड्स, सी नो हैंड्स, एंड दीज आर मेनी टाइम्स फेमस लास्ट वर्ड्स आल्सो. नो. तो कुशलता किस में है? जब जब मैं कुशल नहीं हूं, मैं बैंकरप्ट हूं, मेरे अंदर अभाव है, उतना ज्यादा मैं अटैच्ड हूं. अगर हम बच्चे को देखें जो अपने सपोर्ट के साथ अटैच्ड है, उसका मतलब है कि वो अभी कुशल राइडर नहीं बना है. सो व्हेनेवर वी लिव इन अटैचमेंट्स, वी मस्ट अंडरस्टैंड, इसका मतलब अभी जीवन जीने की कुशलता हमारे पास नहीं है. वी आर नॉट स्किल्ड इन लिविंग लाइफ. वी हैवंट रियली लर्नड द ट्रू आर्ट ऑफ लिविंग. राइट? मन से जो भी हम क्रिएट करते हैं, या जो मेरे थॉट्स हैं, जब मैं उनके साथ अटैच्ड हूं, तो वह मेरी मेंटल बैंकरप्सी की बात, उसकी खबर देता है. तीसरे तल की अटैचमेंट जो है वो है इमोशनल अटैचमेंट. अब यहाँ संबंधों की बात आ गई. इसमें क्या हो रहा है? मेरा बच्चा है, ही कैन ग्रो, वो विदेश जाके पढ़ाई करेगा, अच्छा कुछ नया सीखेगा, मे बी ही विल सेटल डाउन इन अ डिफरेंट सिटी देन वेयर आई लिव. लेकिन उसका एक विकास है, उसकी एक ग्रोथ है. लेकिन मेरी अटैचमेंट क्या करती है? वो उस बच्चे को अपने से दूर नहीं जाने देना चाहती, क्योंकि मैं उसके साथ अटैच्ड हूँ. मैं चाहता हूँ नहीं, अब वो मेरे पास रहे. और अटैचमेंट क्या है? मेरा पति मेरे पास रहे, पत्नी मेरे पास रहे, माता पिता मेरे पास रहे, गाड़ी मेरे पास रहे, बंगला मेरे पास रहे, मेरे आइडिया, मेरे थॉट्स वो चोरी ना हो जाए, वो सब मेरे पास रहे. बस जिसे मैं समेट कर, पकड़ कर, अपने पास कैद करके रखना चाहता हूँ, वही अटैचमेंट है. और इस अटैचमेंट में समस्या क्या है? समस्या पहली, हम ये रिकग्नाइज ही नहीं कर रहे कि हम अभी जीवन जीने में कुशल नहीं हुए. इमोशनल अटैचमेंट का अर्थ केवल इतना है कि वी आर इमोशनली बैंकरप्ट. जैसे मेंटल लेवल की अटैचमेंट्स का अर्थ है कि वी आर मेंटली बैंकरप्ट. कभी कभार कुछ बेहतर होता है, कुछ उतरता है और हम कर पाते हैं. ऐसे ही इमोशनल लेवल की अटैचमेंट का अर्थ यही है कि वी आर एब्सोल्युटली इमोशनली एम्प्टी. We are bankrupt. We are beggars. We seek that someone else gives me love, someone else gives me joy, someone else gives me happiness. और जब तक वह व्यक्ति मेरे जीवन में मौजूद है, मैं प्रसन्न हूँ. अगर वो व्यक्ति मेरे अनुसार नहीं चलता या मेरे जीवन में मौजूद नहीं है, तो मैं नाप्रसन्न हूँ. Now the issue, real issue with attachment is not the other person or other thing or the other thought. What is the real issue? The real issue is I am incomplete. The real issue is I am constantly dependent on others. The real issue is when I say I'm dependent on others, it basically means my happiness is dependent on others. तो मैं कभी लोगों से पूछता हूँ, कल रात को भी बात हो रही थी, छोटे बच्चे भी थे, तो I was asking her, so what do you think about attachment? How to be free from attachment? And she said, we should be absolutely independent. हम इतने इंडिपेंडेंट हो जाएं कि हमें किसी की कोई नीड ही नहीं, हमें किसी की कोई ज़रूरत ही नहीं है. So then I tried to polish that. I said, but we are always dependent. Remember, whenever we talk about independence, we need to understand what kind of independence. ये बात बहुत होती है कि हमें independent होना चाहिए, लेकिन किससे independent होना है, कैसी independence? We can never be independent because we are all interdependent. हमें जीवन मिल रहा है माता पिता से. We are born because of them. So our very life was dependent on our parents. And their life on their parents and their parents and so on. Endless. Ad infinitum. तो हम उन सब के जोड़ पे डिपेंडेंट होकर ही तो पैदा हुए. नहीं तो हम पैदा भी कैसे होते? हम यहाँ कैसे होते? ना जीने के लिए we are dependent on food. We are dependent on the sun. You can't imagine we are even dependent on cockroaches. The scientists say the day cockroaches disappear from the earth, humanity will disappear. There is a whole effort right now going on in Mumbai to bring sparrows back to the city. Why is that? When sparrows disappear, this is the first sign that the human race will also disappear. क्योंकि स्पैरो इतनी नाजुक है, वो इतना ज़्यादा पोल्यूशन और ये सब, जब वो उड़ती है, जब वो निकल जाए कहीं से. सेम गोज़ फॉर गिलहरी, स्क्विरल्स. तो स्क्विरल भी जो है, जहाँ पे बहुत ज़्यादा पोल्यूशन है, तकलीफ है, वहाँ पे नहीं रहती. जहाँ से गिलहरियाँ विदा हो जाएं, फिर ह्यूमैनिटी समाप्त हो जाएगी. तो अलग अलग जगह पे अलग अलग लोगों ने रिसर्च किया. इन द US दे आर वर्किंग ऑन दिस फॉर नाउ सो मैनी ईयर्स कि अगर बीज, हनी बीज जो हैं, वो गायब हो जाती हैं, the humanity will disappear forever. Everything is so interdependent. Our body is made of stardust. तो हम ये जो अंतरिक्ष में जो चांद, सितारे, ग्रह, उपग्रह, इन सब पे डिपेंडेंट है. The idea that I should be so independent, or to think of independence in terms of being aloof, कि अब ना किसी से प्रेम, ना किसी का संग, ना किसी का साथ, मैं अकेले में, मैं अपने आप में खुश हूँ, मुझे कोई नहीं चाहिए. This is the worst thing we can think of in the name of independence. क्योंकि जो बिल्कुल अकेले रहना चाहते हैं, अभी पीछे एक मित्र हमारे पास आश्रम में, ओशो मठ में विजिट करने आए. The lady is friend of ours for many years. We literally grew up together. So I was talking to her. She lives alone, so I was asking her, anyone in your life, what's happening? And she said, no one in my life. And then there were other people. The whole talk started from the issue of jealousy. We were talking about jealousy, how it begins and how is it. So everyone sitting there was sharing their own thing. And she said, the moment I realize now there is something like jealousy creeping in, I move away. Because the moment this starts, now I know I will be in a mess. So better to move away. Now I want to ask you, in the same fashion like I asked you who is a better rider, I'll ask you who is a better human. The one who runs away from relationships because they will also bring jealousy and possessiveness and all that, or the one who can play even in relationships. Who is richer? The one who can be interdependent, the one who can be with the other and at the same time be happy. So remember one thing, why am I talking about all this is, independence does not mean being independent from other people. Independence does not mean that I will decide to live alone in my pursuit of happiness. Independence means my happiness is not dependent on other person's presence or absence or their behavior. Independence means I claim my happiness, I choose a happy life, disregard of the fact whether the other person is there or not there. So attachment means I'm happy only when my loved one is there with me. And just like I mentioned, parents, how they kill their love with their own children by clipping their wings, by not letting them go far, the same thing happens in all relationships. We are not ready to give any freedom to our partners. And then there is suffocation. We are constantly suffocating the other person because we are dependent. Our happiness is dependent on them. And this very idea that someone else's happiness is dependent on me behaving in a certain way is so much pressure for any person to take that they are bound to fail. And if not fail, they are bound to react. It is like imprisonment. If I'm constantly being told, तुम हो तो मैं खुश हूं, नहीं तो मैं खुश नहीं हूं, I will feel I'm living in a jail. I will feel I'm living in a prison, because the moment I move away for some time, the other person is not happy. Same thing with parents. बच्चे जो हैं, जो बचपन में बहुत ज़्यादा जिद करते हैं, वो माँ बाप सबसे ज़्यादा परेशान होते हैं जिनके बच्चे उनको थोड़ी देर भी दूर नहीं जाने देते, माएँ खास करके. क्योंकि बाप दूर जाता है, ये तो बच्चे को पहले से ही आदत हो जाती है, बिकॉज फ्रॉम द ओल्डर टाइम्स men were always going for work, not so much of women. So the kids were used to that. So they would get more attached to the mother who is mostly there. And when the mother is not there, they are very upset. Now the mother is very likely to feel imprisoned. I don't know if you are aware of this. In the past there was this huge movement where women decided not to have children. They were talking about either delaying having babies, because I also want to live my life. People were getting married early, 22, 23, they would get married, and then they will have a child in a year or two at the most, or 3, and then they're gone forever, imprisoned. So attachment means my happiness is dependent on the other. In emotional scene, it is dependent on other people around me. And this also gives birth to guilt to the other person. When I am attached so much to one person saying, my happiness is dependent on you, what I'm really doing is I'm creating guilt in that person's mind. Because the moment that person goes away, it is not that the other person doesn't love you. They love you, but they also need their own space. If you ask Khalil Gibran, what is the best way for the lovers to be, he will say, like the pillars of the same temple, of the same roof. Not so far that the roof actually collapses, and not so close that you can't build a roof. There has to be a distance also, and there has to be a closeness also. All relationships are actually a dynamics of coming close and moving away, coming close and moving away, being together and being alone, being together and being alone. Just like there is day and there is night, there is day and there is night. You work and then you rest. You are with people, you are alone. You are in love and you are absolutely with yourself. If we stifle this dynamics, we are killing the relationship. And the moment we start to stifle this, the first thing that happens in the other person is they start to feel guilty whenever they want to nourish themselves, whenever they want to be alone. So attachment is creating misery for me, one, and it is creating misery in the life of the person I love, that I am attached to. It is misery for both. It is a lose-lose situation. Now, there is another type of attachment, not just emotional attachment. There is also spiritual attachment. Now, this is the worst of all. Spiritual attachment. Spiritual attachment means I am attached to this guru. And this is the only guru. This is the only master. Everyone else is false or fake or faku or whatever. My master is the best, east or west, so this is spiritual attachment. And not only that, spiritual attachment also means anything I experience in meditation. Now I'm attached to that. I want that experience to continue. I don't want to lose that experience. So, you will find people only talking about their master. You will find people so attached to their experiences of meditation and they are the best. If they are walking on the path of Kundalini Yoga, now they are attached so much to the chakras, to the Kundalini awakening and any little experience of energy, and this is it, this is the end, this is all. And for a spiritual seeker, attachment starts to kill him. How? Because when they start to be attached to one type of experience or any experience for that matter, they don't want that experience to go. And they forget that the experience happens when they are not expecting it. It came as a prasad. It came, the experiences come as a blessing. You cannot hold on to them. You cannot bottle the experience. You cannot hold the sky in your fists. And remember, ultimately, no matter on what stage, on what level this attachment is, life is like the sky. Life is so vast, you can't hold on to anything. The whole idea of attachment is born out of a dream. First dream, I am. Second dream, you are. Third dream, I will be here forever. Fourth dream, people I love or things I'm attached to will be here forever. From the very childhood, I come back to the beginning. From the very childhood, we have been hearing, ये सब मोह माया है, एक दिन सब खो जाएगा. Attachment में issue क्या है, problem क्या है? This is the issue. We are living in a dream world. The very meaning of attachment is that I am assuming, I am dreaming that what I'm holding on to will stay forever. And I insist that it must stay forever. And freedom from attachment means whatever is there as a blessing. It is here today, it may not be here tomorrow. So live today as much as possible. Whether it is your wealth on the material level, or it is art or whatever your creativity is on the mental level, or it is your relationships on the emotional level, or your experiences in meditation on the spiritual level. This is what is inherently wrong with attachment. The insistence that things should stay the way they are. We are looking for status quo. Whatever we have found, it should stay. People are attached to their own bodies. Now, there are so many variations. People are attached to their youthful looks. Then they go for Botox, they go for implants, they do this and they do that. Why? Because they are so attached to their physical looks. Youthful looks. This should not go. This must not go. The whole idea of being free from attachment is realizing whatever is there today will not be there tomorrow. It will all be gone, including the implants. Everything will go. गुरुबाणी में उल्लेख है, जो उपजय सो बिनस है. जो पैदा हुआ है वो मरता है. The only constant is the change. Attachment means resistance to change. And whenever we resist change, we are miserable. Whenever we are living in the dream world, we must remember all dreams will break one day or the other. Right? So, how to be free from this attachment? How to live happy? How to find a balance where love exists, where there is a lot of sharing that exists, and at the same time there is no attachment. What is there in happiness and not in misery? One major ingredient is the ingredient of let go. In attachment, there is holding on. And in let go, just that. Knowing, realizing that you can't hold on to anything in reality. You actually cannot hold on to anyone, anything. ये पूरा जीवन जो है ये नदी नाला संयोग है. It's like a train. We have all gotten on that train. All acquaintances that happened within that train. But in the trains, how people get acquainted, they share food, they do this, and there is long time. And then people even fight. Everything goes on happening. And then the station arrives, somebody has to get down here, somebody has to get down there. With all the fights, with all the friendships, with everything left in that train, they leave. The only difference between that train and this life is, in the train you at least know where your station is and approximately when it will come. In this life you have no idea when your station comes and when someone else's station is coming. In the train at least we can ask, when are you getting down, where are you getting down? So we exchange phone numbers before one of us leaves. But in life, there is not enough time. We assume this will go on forever. That is precisely why there are no fulfilled goodbyes that happen. People are sad, people are upset when somebody dies because the station came suddenly and there was this huge amount of attachment. We thought we were living in a dream world that this will stay forever, and suddenly it hits you. It is not forever. And then what happens? Death wakes us up, but very briefly, and we go back to sleep again. Because there are so many people who are saying, let's get back to the dream. Don't wake up. Waking up is painful. Don't wake up. Let's go watch a movie. इसको घुमाने ले जाओ. ये ज़्यादा दुखी है किसी के इसको घुमाने ले जाओ. दोस्त साथ में बैठेंगे. ये करेंगे. चलो पिक्चर देख. Get on with your life. Basically, whenever somebody is doing that, remember all they are saying is, let me dream peacefully. You please also be part of the dream. Don't wake up. Don't try it. Because if you start to wake up, that disturbs my sleep also. If one person sits and starts talking about death, starts talking about the reality of life, that this will all go, you say, एक कुछ और बात करना, जब जाएंगे तब जाएंगे. अभी तो है ना इधर. All you are saying is, अभी तो सपने का मजा लेने दे. जब जागेंगे तब जो होगा तब देखेंगे. And this is the difference between an intelligent human being and a Dumbo. An intelligent one wakes up before time, and a Dumbo keeps on trying to fall asleep, like Mullah Nasruddin. Osho talks about Mullah Nasruddin. One day someone woke him up and he slapped the guy and he said, let me sleep, I will get back. And he went back to sleep. And the guy again woke him up and said, now you are already awake, what are you trying to do? He said, you don't understand. I was sleeping and I was dreaming I was with Marilyn Monroe. And he said, okay, I'm sorry I woke you up, but there is no Marilyn Monroe. But why are you going back to sleep? He said, maybe she's still waiting. So let me go back to sleep and find her. Maybe she's still there. This is our life. Going back to the dream all the time. How do you become free from attachment? If you ask Osho, he gives only one simple sutra, one simple formula. If we can understand that one sentence, that one formula, our whole life can transform. He says, जो मृत्यु तुमसे छीन लेगी, मृत्यु से पहले उससे मुक्त हो जाओ. All that which will be taken away by death, be free from it before the death knocks on your door. That's it. How will this happen? Unless we are conscious of death, this will never happen. That is precisely why Gautam Buddha used to send his disciples to the Shamashan Ghat. Before he initiated them, the condition was they need to spend 3 months on a cremation ground. Not that they were doing any tantric sadhana or anything. Simple. See death every day. Experience death every day. So you can be free from attachments. Know, experience this, that all will be gone. You all have heard Osho's story. I'll repeat it anyway. Osho talks about a king and there is a fakir. The fakir comes visiting that particular kingdom and the king welcomes him to the palace, takes him in, gives him food, does everything that he needs to do. And as the fakir is leaving, the fakir asks the king, see, you have really taken care of me for all these days. I'd like to give you some gift. Ask me for whatever you want to ask. How fakir sometimes they are ready to give a boon, and he said, ask whatever you wish to ask. And the king said, look, I'm an atheist. I don't believe in God or anything, but because you have come to my kingdom, this is my Raj Dharma, that I should respect you and take care of you. So I did that for a few days. I'm a king, I have everything. There is nothing I lack. And this was not a king without son or without daughter. This was not a king whose wife was on the deathbed. Everything was going smooth, like most of us. He said, but I don't need anything anymore. I'm absolutely fine. Still, if you feel there is something you want to give, you only decide, you only choose. I don't need anything. Now remember one thing, we have heard beggars can't be choosers. Remember this, kings also don't need to make a choice. They also don't need to choose. Beggars can't choose, kings don't choose. They don't need to choose. Everything is there, whenever they need, whatever they need. So if you are making a choice, don't think you are not a beggar and that is enough. Remember, you are still not a king because you are still making choices. And Krishnamurti talks only about choicelessness. And that is the finest key ever given to humanity, choiceless awareness. Anyway, coming back to the story. So the fakir said, okay, I'll give you a mantra, I'll give you a taweez, you keep this with you. And you open this whenever you are in absolute dire straits, like huge trouble around you. Or open it when you are extremely happy, when you are extremely miserable, or when you are extremely happy. So I'll cut it short because you might have heard this a few times before. There's an attack on this kingdom and the king goes for a battle and eventually he loses and he's lost in the forest, everything lost, the kingdom's taken over by the other kings and another alliance, whatever. And he's alone and he's desperate, and the most miserable a king can be, without kingdom, without anything, no army, nothing. He's absolutely miserable. Only his wazir, his wise man, was with him, and he said, look, king, I think this is the right time to open that taweez, because I don't think more misery can befall on you. This is the most miserable situation. And king said, yes, this is almost like suicide. So they open the taweez and the king reads, there are 4 words written on that piece of paper. And those 4 words are, this too shall pass. Yah bhi beet jayega. Now, a person who is in a situation where he feels he's lost everything, this works like magic. That this misery will also pass. This is all temporary. And he is filled with renewed courage and all, and now he slowly builds his army again. new alliances, and then eventually attacks his own kingdom, regains his kingdom, and then there is huge celebration as he enters his own palace. And there is singing, there is dancing, and whatnot. Everything is going on. And that Wazir again asks him, Maharaj, this is the right time to open that taweez again, because today you are the most happy. And the king opened again and read the taweez. And the same 4 words, this too shall pass, yah bhi beet jayega. And all the pride, all the ego that was surfacing in him subsided. And after that, the story says, he ruled well, he was very kind, and it brought him back to his center. So, to be free from attachment means knowing all this will pass. I'm changing it a little bit. This too nahi, all this. And I'm saying will because shall is out of the dictionary. Now nobody uses shall. All this will pass. Remember that. Alexander, his story about his death is all about attachment. And we are taught these stories in the very childhood. How in his death, he specifically asked, please leave my hands out of the coffin. Don't cover me, don't tie my hands as is the tradition on the chest. Leave them hanging outside. Let everybody see that even the greatest of the king on this earth, when he is leaving, he has to go empty-handed. But do we learn? Rarely. Attachment means being clingy. Attachment means not letting go. And then we have heard stories in our Shastras के मृत्यु के समय यमराज आता है. Are you aware यमराज का वाहन कौन सा है? On which animal does he sit? भैंसा. भैंसा कौन से रंग का होता है? काला. और यमराज का रंग कैसा है? और उसके साथ में कौन कौन आता है? यमदूत. और प्राण खींचने के लिए यमदूत आते हैं, क्योंकि जो जीवात्मा है वो शरीर को छोड़ने को भी तैयार नहीं होती. Now remember, if when we are so clingy to the aspects around us, how much do we cling to this body also? And when the time of death comes, the story says, I don't know, I've not seen them personally, but I really love this story, I really like this metaphor, कि यमदूत आते हैं और यमराज काले भैंसे पे और ये बड़ी बड़ी मूंछें हैं उसकी, and he orders and you are beaten so that the जीव, the soul actually leaves the body because you are not ready to leave the body. और you may have heard the stories कि ये जो व्यक्ति अपने धन से बहुत जुड़ा है, अपने खजाने से बहुत जुड़ा है, कि ये मरने के बाद में भी सांप बन के इधर ही बैठेगा. All these stories may not be true factually, 100%, but they are all true. Because even the next birth is decided by our unfulfilled desires and attachments. All the studies, proper studies done on the subject of reincarnation, the people who did all these studies, they found that the person is usually born within the 50-kilometer radius of the place where he died. Because, say you are missing your family, तुम्हारे प्राण तुम्हारे बच्चे में अटके हैं, पत्नी में अटके हैं, माता पिता में अटके हैं, और तुम्हारी मृत्यु हो जाती है. Now this soul, what does it want the most? The one it is attached to will try its best to be born closest to that place so they can get back to their own family. The person who is clinging with gold, what is the best way to save that gold? Not today, earlier. People used to dig the ground and keep the gold hidden. At that time, people were born as snakes and they will still guard their gold, their diamonds, their khajana, their treasure. Today, everything is in the bank, in the locker, or hidden somewhere else. Now, snake will not do. You can't become a snake. Maybe you'll have to become a spider or something to go back in there to see everything is okay or not. So don't think that you will come as a snake only. Our shastras are filled with stories that a sadhu, a fakir. Now this is a Buddhist story. I love this story. Buddha narrated this story. There was this bhikshu, there was this fakir. He was doing a lot of sadhana, and he gained amazing heights in his meditation. But in the last part of his life, just a year before he died, a deer came to him. And the deer was hurt, was not well, so he started to take care of that deer. He gave him medicine and all that. So eventually the deer became well. But because the fakir was feeding the deer decided not to go anywhere. He was always there with the fakir. He never left his place in Himalayas also. So this guy is meditating, but then there is this deer that he takes care of. He'll get up from meditation, feed him, make sure that he has water or whatever. When the death came knocking at his door, at that time the deer had gone somewhere, grazing new grass somewhere, or just roaming around. Deers are deers, they run and they jump, and he was wherever he was. And he requests the death, please wait, I want to see that deer. At least let me say goodbye to the deer. But death is death, the time is fixed, there are no exceptions. So the death says, sorry, you have to go. And when the death comes and takes him away, his eyes are looking for that deer in the forest ahead of him. Maybe he will come, maybe he will come. And he died in the remembrance of his deer. And then the story says, in the next birth, he's born as a deer. He has to live his whole life as a deer, and then he receives another birth after the life of deer, and then again he does sadhana, and finally he attains liberation. Even this much of attachment can make you fall from the heights. And remember, attachment is not so simple to be free from. Even Lord Shiva fell for it. That is why they say Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Gurur Devo Maheshwara. Gurur Sakshat Parabrahma, Tasmai Shri Guruve Namah. Because even Mahesh, even Vishnu, even Brahma can fall for desire or attachment. All have fallen for something or the other. We have stories to say how Vishnu took the roop of Mohini and Brahma was running after him. I want to remind you of a story that you have heard all along, how Shakti Peeths are created. Do you remember? Ma Parvati died in the arms of Shiva. And Shiva is so attached to Parvati, he can't let go. So he carries the body of Parvati with him. He goes everywhere in the world. He goes to Brahma, he goes to Vishnu, he goes to different gods and God. And he is in a mess. He's crying because he wants his beloved Parvati to come alive again. The Lord of Death could not reconcile with the death of his own loved one because he was so attached to her. And then the story says, he carried her for so long that somewhere the leg fell, somewhere the arm fell, all the body parts started to rot and fall. And wherever that body part fell is today known as a Shakti Peeth. All those original temples, the Shakti Peeths, 108 Shakti Peeths, are basically different parts of body that fell at different places. So imagine Shiva, in a moment of attachment, of that weakness, of that unawareness, can be like this. But then he regains. Our problem is we fall, but we never regain. we are never conscious. Shiva, in this story, goes unconscious, behaves unconsciously, and then he comes back as a god and accepting everything. What are we willing to do? Are we waiting for the death to beat us? The ambassadors of death to take the jeev, the soul away from the body? Imagine, जीते जी जिसके पास से कुछ नहीं छूट रहा है, मरते समय उसके पास से सदा के लिए वो कैसे छूटेगा? Impossible, छूट ही नहीं सकता. So what is the path to be free from attachment? ओशो का सूत्र और उसके साथ थोड़ा सा प्रैक्टिकल मैं जोड़ना चाहता हूँ. ओशो का सूत्र है, पहली बात कि पहचान लो जो मृत्यु तुमसे छीनने वाली है. और फिर ओशो कहते हैं जो जो मृत्यु तुमसे छीन लेने वाली है उससे पहले ही, मृत्यु के आने से पहले ही मुक्त हो जाओ. अब मुक्त कैसे हो जाओ? ओशो इज नॉट द फर्स्ट वन हु हैज गिवन दिस सूत्र, रिमेंबर. Many masters, many mystics have given these sutras. लेकिन उसके अर्थ हमने क्या निकाले? पत्नी छूटने वाली है मृत्यु के समय, अभी मुक्त हो जाओ, यानी पत्नी छोड़ दो. फैक्ट्री छूटने वाली है, अभी मुक्त हो जाओ, फैक्ट्री छोड़ दो. आदमी सब छोड़ के जंगलों में भागने लगा, साधु हो गया, तथा कथित साधु, नॉट अ रियल साधु. साधु मीन्स द वन हु इज इनटू साधना इन रियलिटी. लेकिन ये लोग साधना नहीं कर रहे थे. ओशो ने इनके लिए एक और शब्द दिया, भगौड़े, एस्केपिस्ट्स. दे रैन अवे फ्रॉम देयर रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटीज. In reality, they were not running away even from attachment. They were running away from their responsibilities. क्योंकि घर छोड़ा, महल छोड़ा, जाके गुफा पे कब्जा कर लिया. ये मेरी गुफा. और जो लोग एक वृक्ष के नीचे बैठते थे साधना का, ये मेरा वृक्ष. आप कभी किसी साधु की कुर्सी पे जाके बैठ के देखो. राज सिंहासन छोड़ दिया, साधु की कुर्सी पकड़ ली. भाई ले देकर है तो रियल एस्टेट ना. वो गुफा हो कि महल हो, महल छोड़ा, गुफा पकड़ ली, घर छोड़ा, पेड़ के नीचे की जो चौपाल है वो पकड़ ली. अब ये मेरी है. मेरापन नहीं छूटा, लेकिन जिसे जिसे मैंने मेरा समझा था वो मैंने छोड़ दिया. जिसे मैं मेरा समझता हूं उसका दोष नहीं है, मेरेपन का दोष है. This feeling of mine is inside, and what I consider mine has nothing to do with it in reality. I consider Rohan is mine. Now I don't have to leave Rohan, I have to leave this idea that this is mine, he is mine. This idea is inside the head. The person is outside of me. All renunciation, सारा त्याग, उसका कोई भी संबंध अपने से जो बाहर है उससे नहीं है. सारा त्याग का, रिनंसिएशन का अर्थ है जो मैंने मन से पकड़ रखा है, मैं मन से उसे छोड़ दूं. यू कैन बी इन योर फैमिली, in your job, running your businesses, and still remember that this is not mine. This is a play. This is happening. This is what Osho calls being in the world yet not of the world. Being like a lotus in the mud. लोटस जो है वो रहता तो संसार में, मट्टी में है, कीचड़ में है, लेकिन जो फूल है वो उस कीचड़ से बिल्कुल अछूता है. द कीचड़ है वो उसे छूता नहीं है. So the aspect that I would like to add, the practical aspect, how to be free from this. Now remember, the mechanism of attachment is to hold on. Start doing exactly the opposite. Start to give away what you have. Start with small things. All that you are attached to, start to let that go slowly. Very slowly, gently. For example, begin with cleaning your house. You can't imagine, we are even attached to 5 rupees ka screw and nut bolt. So in Mumbai there is issue with space, so we don't hoard so much, even if we are attached to things. But move slightly out of Mumbai and you will find newspapers, magazines from 1938 probably. Now your wedding dress, people save. Are you going to wear it again? And even if you do need to wear it again, if that is your joy, that is what you really want to do, why not buy a new one at that time? New wife, new dress. Why? I personally feel so many people don't go for a new marriage because they are attached to the old one so much. Like their dress, like the wife. The dress is hanging behind the door, the wife is hanging in the kitchen. Who cares? They wear whatever they want to wear, they do their thing. Neither they look at the dress nor they look at the wife, so the life goes on. But we are just attached, we can't let go. So, first exercise is to start letting go of the things that you don't need. Always begin with that which you don't need. For example, you don't need the cell phone in the meditation hall. So we can't let go. Have you seen children? They can't let go of their PlayStation. And adults like you and I can't let go of their mobile phones. It has to be there. People are going through separation anxiety with their phones, with their gadgets. It's like, my God, I miss my phone. God forbid something happens to your phone, it is stolen or it has to go for repair. Many people like, my God, my phone, everything. Online life, which is just dream world. The real life is offline. The real life is now. Real life is in this moment. But this moment, what we generally do, take picture of this and send it to the dream world for posterity. We'll look at it later. We will enjoy it later. Now, all that you don't need, start to let go of that. Attachment means hoarding. Attachment means keeping things, clinging to things. Start to do the opposite. I would like to call it sharing. And this trick is also not new. Remember, this is not something I have recently found out. What we called as daan, as donation in earlier times, I'm calling the same thing as sharing today. Because donations mean now too many things. You're donating to someone, God knows what will actually happen with that money. You are giving something as dana, you don't know what they are doing with it, all different organizations. I will say, forget the idea of donation, but move on to the idea of sharing. If I have something that Kiran Bhai needs, but I don't need, I can share it with him. How brothers do, how sisters do. One can wear the other one's t-shirt, or just basic, simple sharing. Anything I don't need. Old books, old clothes, old whatever you have not used for more than a year, 99% of that can be shared with others. Donation means getting rid of your junk. I'm not for that. Nepal refused India's junk. You must have read in the newspaper. They said, we don't want all the crap coming to our country. Because people, in the name of donating, the poor, I don't know, whatever they were sending, whatever they were doing. Sharing means you finding the right person to share it with. It needs a little effort. It is a conscious effort. Who will this be useful for? Whatever you have, start to share. Not only things, share your smiles. Now we are so clingy. We are so conjuice, we are such misers, we don't even want to smile at a person. In fact, if somebody on the road smiles at us, we think, why is this guy smiling at me? And if that person is a stranger, you go, why is this one smiling at me? And if that person is known, oh, he must want something from me. Imagine you come home and the wife is all smiling at you. You know there is trouble. I mean, she hardly smiles. In fact, just few minutes before watching TV, she was laughing. The moment you come, she makes a face. Aage. You know? No, not to. I exaggerate also, so please, little discount is okay. Start to share. Start to give. Start to share. Sharing will help you let go of that which you don't need first, and then start to give what you need, but someone else needs more than you. This will create this habit of sharing, of letting go. This will make you stronger in your let go. Some people ask about Havan and their significance. One of the significance of Havan, of Ahuti, people say, why waste ghee and grain into the fire? Remember, whatever you put into a Havan is called Arpan, is offering, is sharing. It is one of the ways devised by our rishis, among many other things that Havan is all about. One of the ways devised by our rishis that you start to offer the best of what you have, although in small quantities. अर्पण करना सीखो ताकि किसी दिन समर्पण भी हो सके. Remember this two words, arpan and samarpan. Samarpan means let go. Arpan means sharing, offering. Start to offer, start to give. People have the joy of giving weak and this. Why weak? Make a joy of giving life. And not always by things. Like I said, smile is one of the ways. You can maybe give your shoulder to a friend who needs one. Maybe you can give your time to someone who wants to just be with someone who can understand him for a few minutes. This is also giving, not just a thing. So to me, for me, to be free from attachment, first remembering all this was never ours. Everything is a gift. कबीर कहते हैं ना, तेरा तुझको सौंपिए क्या लागे है मेरा. I'll say, remember this, all that we have, including this life, is not our earning. It is a blessing. It is a gift we have received. So whatever you are offering, all the time in the world that you have is a blessing you have received, is a gift you have received. If you are in a position where you have much, you are in that position as a gift from the existence, as a blessing. Of course, your hard work, you will say, it's my hard work that helps me make money. Where is the gift? I'll say, the ability to work hard. The intelligence that you very much think is yours, that helped you create or acquire, that intelligence was received as a gift. The ability to work hard is also received as a gift. Not everyone has that ability. There are duffers walking on this earth. And if you are smart, if you are intelligent, remember, you are not intelligent just because of you. You cannot be hardworking just because of yourself. There are so many factors at play. One little slip while you were playing as a child, you would have been in a different world altogether. This whole thing that is the beauty of life is nothing but a gift. Acknowledge that gift. And any time, any moment, this gift can be taken away. So make use of it. Know this is a gift. Share because you have received. Right?